So Rosanna was a track which came kind of, it was like one of those pieces of music that when it arrives, it was already its own thing. I remember when Garb sent me the demo, it just already was a complete picture, and it just had this incredible, deep, kind of almost this deep longing feeling amongst it, even without the words. Either the lyrics were, I think they are really important to this track, but in particular, just the feeling of the way the music was put together. It had this huge, epic soundscape to it just from the get-go, and the use of the Rosanna, just the repeating one word, was that had such a massive impact. I remember when I was working on it, because it really told me everything to do. I didn't have to really think very hard for this, because it just had this outlay which was just fantastic, and I loved the kind of, almost feel like I had like a rolling, ongoing, nostalgic, kind of almost cinematic feel to it from the get-go. So that was the thought process. As I was listening to it for the first time, I just had all this imagery just kind of flooding into my head, and it was one of the easy tracks for me to actually produce. This one I added a lot to the track, but Garbs gave this one in quite a complete format to me. Although there was one big thing I did add. I remember, I have no idea how I thought about this. I remember seeing years ago Dire Straits at Live Aid. This will relate in a second. With Sting singing "Money for Nothing," and I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe at that show Sting was actually there doing the intro where he sings the "I want my MTV" section, and somehow when listening to Rosanna, it just became clear that I could kind of take that as an inspiration and drag the Rosanna chorus to the intro, which wasn't there when we started, and kind of reinterpret that idea. I haven't really heard many people do it, and I thought it'd be really cool to try and include that at some point. And I think this track kind of gave me the permission to do that. And so I stacked, I think it was like 36, 48 vocals of me doing Rosanna onto the intro. So when you hear the track, that is me just quite literally holding several high notes for very uncomfortable periods of time. And I remember I placed that amongst the song to try and elongate this kind of feeling, this longing for this, whatever this particular thing was. That kind of vibe really got enhanced, I felt when I added that in. And I think that, when listening to the song, it just feels like one of those tracks that defines a project to me. And there was a section, I always find this quite funny, there was a section when I was listening through, one of the sections had nothing in it. It was just the backing track. So I remember I texted Garbs, and I said, "What happens here?" Because there was nothing there. And he said, "Oh, yeah, like an instrumental or something." So like all good production on kind of rock tracks, I decided just to put guitar solo in it, which again I tried to make that quite a lyrical solo, so it kind of had like a strong poking kind of sense out of the track, leading into this kind of like big tense outro to the solo, back into the chorus, which has the Garbs doing the Rosanna, and then me going Rosanna, and I just remember it all just came together so quickly. I think I did the solo in like 2 takes or something. I just had the whole thing just came together. So it's one of those kind of more out of body experience production moments where I think I quite literally spent a day on it and it was done. And yeah, it's got a life of its own. It really is a very special piece of music to me. And I'm glad I'm part of it. It was great. So yeah, that's Rosanna.